It kind of looks like I'm a saint, like canonized with like Saint Mary or something. Okay. Hey Femme Founders, I'm Gia. I'm always helping female entrepreneurs level up and in all aspects of life. So thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe. Here are 10 ways to be interesting in a conversation when networking or at social gatherings, and these are also 10 things that you can bring up to change the subject in case things get uncomfortable. And you can also use these things as weird tips to help you prepare for a dinner party, get together conference, Zoom summit, get your audience engaged in a Facebook group, coaching call, and just how to network in general. So all of these are relevant topics that you could definitely use in all kinds of social settings, whether it's business, personal, and all the things in between. So this came to mind because I have two dinners each week. Sometimes I just have to think like the master of ceremonies, stories, and edutainment. I feel like my gift that I was also told by someone else is I know how to drop bombs. So from a psychological point of view, I am not good at easing into a conversation. I'm the one who's gets people all triggered and riled up and excited about something. There are psychological experts who ask their way toward questions instead of asking like the big questions. Like I say, hey you guys, I just found out that this person is pregnant, and they'll say, that's so exciting, that's such good news. Other people are more like, did you know this and this about pregnancy and the children's statistics, and then they'll ease into giving news to someone subtly. I'm not that kind of person. I'm the person who drops bombs and is more high energy when in a conversation. I like to kind of get people excited instead of saying I got a raise, because people don't necessarily respond to good news as well. I'll get them all excited about all these other things. People are scientifically known to respond to bad news better, which is why there's a lot of crazy news out there, and they like rumors naturally as human beings. It's because having negative news or just huge explosive things gives you a bigger reaction, and people remember that more than hearing a good average piece of news. So what you do is you get them excited and you make them remember it by saying something bigger. For instance, you say, I lost my job. They'll say, what? Oh my gosh, is everything okay? How are you gonna handle this? What's going on? What's your next step? And you say, I'm just kidding, I got a little raise, or I got a raise, I got a little raise, however you want to word it. When you tell people, oh, I got a raise, people aren't gonna necessarily just be happy for you right off the bat. They're just gonna think, okay, that's exciting, that's cool. They're not going to be super excited, but they'll be relieved. They'll remember the feeling of, oh my gosh, you were kidding with me, I didn't realize that you were going to say that. And you just throw them off the track and drop a bomb. I don't know if that's a violent thing to say. That's how I typically am in a conversation, and I've been told this many times. Here are my tricks to be kind of magnetic in conversation, to keep things sparkly and dazzling and exciting. My master tip, just all in all, if you take anything away from this, is to exaggerate to get people's attention. So the way people react to bad news is way bigger than the way they react to good news and just average news in general. And I used to gather a bunch of good news all week, and it would immediately be passed off. So if I say, this good thing is happening, I got a raise, I got to deal with this company, even if it's for a lot of money, people are just like, oh, okay, that's good to hear. And then they pass it off and they move on to the next subject, where if you tell them something explosive first and then say your news, it really gets their attention. I know it's a really weird thing, but it always works. So number one is get to work. When you have your own life and you have your own things going on, when you have a purpose, when you are living deliberately and you get to work, you have something. People can see that you have something going on and that you're not just all about in your head all the time. They see that you are working hard, that you dedicate your life to something, and it really adds that extra spice to your life. So a lot of things can happen at work and you'll always have something to talk about, especially if your business is thriving, if you have a business, or if you work in someone else's business. If you work in a business, most likely you do. If there's always something going on within work, whether it's positive or negative, and that's always something to talk about. And this is just for small talk, and it can be for big life events, but it just depends on who you're talking with. If you're talking with new people, with strangers, people usually work 8 hours a day, so that's already a third of their life. So if people ask, what do you do in the USA, I know it's very common for people to ask this, because they're basically asking how much money do you make, where I like to ask, what did you study? Because asking what did you study kind of leads people to show you what their interests are. And then they'll say, I studied this, but then I ended up working in this. So it can go in so many directions, and it's a very indirect way to understand and get to know someone, where asking what do you do is basically asking, what do you do for a third of your life? How do you spend a third of your life? So that 8 hours a day, what are you up to? So have a sense of pride in your work, or just have a sense of duty and keep yourself busy that way. And number 2 is you can watch a new show. So I don't watch like very deep shows all the time. Sometimes every now and again there's a good one, but when people suggest a show on Netflix, they say, "Have you seen the show?" And I say, "No, I've never heard. It's not my taste. Why would I? Like, we're two different people. We don't like everything that the same." And it's okay. Like, I will go out of my way just to watch a show so I can talk about it with that person, because I know they like it, I know they appreciate it, and I find some sort of angle that I like about it, even if it's just like a few minutes of a couple episodes. Or I won't necessarily binge watch the whole show, but I will try to like understand something. I'll try anything 10 times. I don't like to try anything once. I really like to see if it grows on me, see if I like something, and really test it out to see if I can, because there are songs on the radio that play all the time that I don't like at first, the first 10 times, but then later I know all the lyrics and I'm like, oh no, look what's happened. So you never know, and just be open-minded. So number 3 would be read the news. So I do this all the time, and I just get like news alerts on my iPhone, and I get like 300 alerts a day, not all from news, but it basically is news for my work. But watching the news is important. I know it can be depressing, but there are not just like those explosive bits of news where it's fake news or scary news or whatever it is. It depends on where you get your news, what kind of news. So I personally like to read and receive financial news, because I love finance, I love economics, I love world news. Or if there's a part of the world that I'm obsessed with, like say like sub-Saharan Africa, I will like read about their news and all the developments going on there. I love world economics, and I know it's really boring, but I love gossip news, like about, oh my gosh, did you know what Kylie Jenner did yesterday or something like that. It's like, it's not that interesting, but it's just very light, and you can turn your brain off and you can relax. And if your friends aren't, if you just like look at the news, look at the world, pay attention, like, oh my gosh, can you believe that Bitcoin is doing this, or this one company is doing this? It's always interesting to just throw it out there and be the informed one. And when other people don't know about it, you can like go into detail of what's going on. Sorry. Number 4 is listen to an audiobook, podcast, documentary, or YouTube video, or something interesting during your day. So you can do this anytime, any day, even if it's a few minutes. It's really fun. It's interesting. You learn a lot. And I personally listen to quite a few podcasts, especially when it comes to news, because that's where I get my financial news and philosophical news, especially contemporary philosophy right now. I'm getting really obsessed with. I know it sounds really dry because I hang out with dry people sometimes. That's just me. But so I listen to 4 audiobooks a day, because you can literally shower, you can eat, you can exercise, you can work if your work is light, depending on if it's grunt work, if it's like little tasks here and there. I listen to audiobooks while I cook, while I drive, and I turn the speed up to double the speed, so times 2. I know like a lot of people I know say, how can you listen to that? I can't understand anything they're saying, but I love retaining information. I love getting to the point. And so listening to audiobooks is a more efficient way of reading more. And I love to read all kinds of nonfiction and biographies and memoirs. And so like my reading list is pretty insane when it comes to all the books I want to read. Like there's an endless array of books constantly coming out, and there's a lot of garbage books out there if you don't know. So like not all reading makes you smart, it just makes you full of information. And so just because you're full of information doesn't mean that you're smart, because knowledge is not power, action is power. So you could be the smartest person in the world and do nothing with it. So if you actually use those smarts and do something to contribute to society or contribute to yourself, whatever it is you want to do, I think that is actual power. So anyway, YouTube videos. I will play full playlists in the background while I'm doing my makeup. And I love mindset videos, especially like femininity videos, and how to say, I love psychology. So like how to express yourself in a more efficient way with others, and how to communicate whatever you want to say in a way that everybody can kind of absorb. I love those kind of videos. I don't know, whatever. But you can just put on like Vogue skincare videos or whatever it is, or anybody's beauty tutorials, because they're really relaxing, and I love just hearing people talk about makeup. I know it sounds silly, or just talking about their spring haul, whatever it is. I will put like full playlists from a couple creators, and I should create like another post for that. The next things next is something food. So the number one piece of content that was the most digested during the pandemic, the P word, the COVID, was food. So any content that was with food, whether it was with recipes or TikToks of really quick videos on how to assemble a recipe or a dish together, those, like, if you can talk about food is like the most universal language, because everybody needs to eat. Not everybody can hear, not everybody has the ability to hear. So like people say, oh, music is a universal language. It's like, yeah, everywhere you go, people can understand music as long as they can hear. But food, everybody eats. Even if you have like a liquid diet, you're going to be ingesting something. And so you can always talk about food and how you hate food, how you like food, how you appreciate a certain food, whatever cuisine. And then also number 7, or number 6, number 7. I think I skipped one because I kind of formed it in with another step. So I guess this is number 6, but something fashion. So I'm not necessarily saying fashion of clothes, but whatever is on trend that is happening right now. It's current trend. Go on Google Trends. Literally, people are searching keywords of what is on trend, what is going up in trend that people are searching, and what is going down, literally. So Google Trends will tell you what keywords it'll tell you what the world is looking at, what the world, like even different countries. Google has indexed all the trends that different countries are searching for. If even in the USA, a lot of keywords that people search for are in Spanish, so that's interesting. So anything that's on trend, like something that blew up on Twitter, something that happened in the news that is very like buzzworthy and what is that word? Controversial. Number 7. So something so something that you talked about today, or your highlight of this week that happened with your loved ones, with your family, with yourself, just like any kind of highlight, just like take note of it and reiterate it to whomever you are with in that social setting. And then this could be just something like if someone asks, what did you do today? Or you can ask, what did you do today? So a lot of people will just say, oh, I did this and this, nothing very interesting. It's like, there's always something more to why someone is saying something, and you can get into that. So if someone's saying, I didn't get a lot done, so you say, well, why didn't you get a lot done? What happened? Don't necessarily pry and question, word it in it carefully, like, oh, so did something stop you from getting things done today or something? Or are you just on a tight schedule? You have a huge to-do list? Like, be more relatable and palatable when you say this. Like, don't just ask straight up, like, how much money do you make? Why didn't you get anything done today? It sounds a bit confrontational. So be gentle and aware of the person's tendencies for sensitivity when you speak with them. And number 8, I guess, or 9, but talk to your coworkers and people you see every day. So if you live with someone, if you have a roommate, if you have students, if you have coworkers, if you have colleagues, if you have peers, if you're a student and you have other friends or people in your class, just talk to those people every single day, and just keep these social things and repeat what they say and be like, oh, I know someone who said something interesting, and refer to something they said and kind of quote them. And you don't necessarily have to go into specificity and say this person into detail. I'm going to keep it vague to respect their privacy, but they told me this and this. So you can refer to something interesting or highlight that they said, or anybody that you know, or someone that you have in common with the person that you're speaking with. And then the last thing is start, work on, and like if you're in the middle of it, or finish a project. So it's always good to talk about an accomplishment, just in general, is my personal opinion. So when you feel good about something, you make your if they're your friends that you're speaking with, they're going to feel proud about you too. And if these are new people that you're speaking with, they're going to get a sense of who you are when you talk about a project that you've accomplished, or something you've been working on for a long time, or just something that you're proud of. So for some people, it'll be their children. Or some people, it'll be their children's accomplishments or achievements that they've done. And this is always very eye-opening to the person that you're speaking with, because it shows what your priorities are and what you list in life to be top shelf information that you pull out at parties. So just another master tip: keep your mind busy before the event or whatever it is you're going to, or even if it's just talking with someone and you're having a cigarette outside. You know, those people, smokers have like have their own code where like if you smoke, you guys like automatically kind of like get along. Nobody smokes anymore, everybody vapes, but I don't smoke cigarettes. I used to for years, but it's like a thing. Smokers know each other. Like, you guys have like the secret code. It's like kind of meeting someone who's, if you're Jewish and someone else is Jewish, you're like, oh, I already relate to you on such on a much more deeper level. Or if someone's of the same culture or the same religion, same whatever it is, you take note of that, and you kind of just share more about it with the people who are there or who are not, or you just like emphasize it even more with those people, like, I was dealing with this today and blah blah blah. So master tip: ask about the other person. It's just, don't make everything about you. I know a lot of people monopolize the conversation and have like a monologue, which bothers me. So I know it's okay to talk about yourself. When people are asking to get to know, a question to get to know you, truly give that information there, and then that's it. Or I know there's a lot of people who, every time someone says something, they'll make a reference back to themselves. It's like, why don't you like actively listen and ask more about, there's probably a reason why they're saying that, so they want you to dive deeper into getting to know them. And if you show a conscious effort that you're getting to know someone, they'll always appreciate that. So like, for you digital marketing geniuses and bloggers, everyone knows user-generated content minimizes work. So if you ask other people for input, they're going to do all the work for you, and you don't necessarily have to add any more to the conversation. You can comment on it. Like, be sure to actively listen and comment on what people are saying, because it's important to show them that, yeah, I'm taking notes while you listen in my mind, and I'm like trying to hear you, and I appreciate your presence and the fact that you're speaking with me here today. So I'll create another video on things to ask about and how to actively listen, but always try to get to know what's going on with people. Personal feelings truly listen. So when you are listening, you have the upper hand, I think. Like, you're the one with the power. So you're the one who's kind of steering the conversation if you ask the questions, and if you are listening. So you can show that you're listening. You can show that you're actively in the conversation when you are listening. This is because when you're listening, you're learning, and you're gathering information to connect better with these people, so you don't have to come up with all the new things to say all the time. And don't be an empty shell. Connect, live life with others. It's not only to supplement your social circle, but to enhance your friendships and nurture those relationships in all your network. So if you want to grow your network as an influencer, sign up now to join the waitlist. Smooth segue. And I can't wait to see you inside, and it was nice seeing you, like, truly. Leave a comment below if you picked up anything. I know I talked really fast. I have a tendency to do that, and I need to talk slower, but I wanted to share as much of this information with you as quickly as possible, because this is a long video otherwise. But leave a comment if you have any questions, if you have anything to add. I'd love to hear it. So I'll see you soon. I was about to say I'll be the same. I'll see you later.